Our ROBOCON Tampa Bay 2013 coverage is proudly powered by the Microsoft Store. From Microsoft Office to the Surface Pro 2, from your classic Xbox 360 games to the all-new Xbox One, the Microsoft Store has it all. Whether you're a student, small business, or developer, go get your favorite gadget now at f5live.tv/Microsoft.
All right, so we've got somebody else in the hot seat.
Hello.
Hello. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Kelley Jones. I'm from NASA Kennedy Space Center. I'm a fluid systems design engineer over there.
So for our viewers and listeners who may not know, what exactly does that mean?
It means that I help design a lot of the ground systems that it takes to tank a rocket. So
okay,
that's what my group does.
Now, obviously, there's a lot of ties between what we're seeing here from these middle schooler and high schoolers to an end goal working with NASA. What brings you here? What have you said to the kids so far that kind of maybe would have inspired them to go, oh my goodness, I need to pursue this, you know?
Well, that's a good question. Well, of course, I mean, these are like the engineers of the future. Engineering in general is just problem solving and working with machinery and how can you make it more efficient and to be able to perform a task and all this stuff. And that goes into any type of project. We just are working with a complex subject matter, how to get into space. So it requires a lot of detail, a lot of safety so we could be successful. And I don't know, I've just been telling the kids what I do, and if they love space, then that's the place to be. It's hard, but you gotta love it. You have to have a passion for it.
Who doesn't love space?
Good question. Who doesn't love space?
It's the best. It just doesn't get better, right? We, in our sister software company, we actually use NASA as an example because you guys have the lowest per line bug rate of any organization on the planet.
Oh, awesome.
Which is
that's great.
Which is an incredible feat. One per every 100,000 or million lines of code or something like that, which is, I mean, occasionally it means that something goes smashing into Mars, but in general...
That wasn't a good day.
In general, it does mean that things work when they're supposed to work, which is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, the problem is we have to have it work because we don't have AAA up in space.
You really kind of only get one shot at it.
We get one shot. You can't call 911. You can't call the fire department. You get one shot, and that's why it takes us years to do things because failure is not an option.
Indeed not. Now, you are with NASA now. What made you want to pursue something like this? Were you involved in FIRST before, or how did you kind of grow up and end up here?
That's an interesting question. No, I did not do any FIRST. Actually, I grew up in the arts. I did a lot of performing arts. I was in a pre-professional ballet company. I did theater, all this stuff. Engineering was not on my career path at all, but my dad, my senior year when I was thinking about college, it kind of came to this point where I was like, what is arts going to do for me as a major? Like, what could it offer me? And he goes, well, you're good at math. I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm good at math. And then he said, and you like Star Wars and Armageddon and you're a sci-fi nerd. And I'm like, well, yeah, but that's like a secret, And then he's like, well, you could be an engineer for NASA. That's what they do. I was like, what are you talking about? What is this? And we had
Who do you think I am?
Who do you think I am? And I happened to be in Indiana, and Purdue is in the state, and I had gotten accepted already into undergraduate studies program. He's like, oh, it's a good engineering school. I'm like, oh, I had no idea how good it was until I got there and I went to a job fair and people were like, Purdue, impressive. I'm like, really? What? Where am I? What did I get myself into?
Who do you think I am?
For years, I'm like, who am I? What is this? And then I met friends that love Star Wars and Star Trek, and I was like, these are my people.
Got it.
These are my people. And I got really lucky and went to a job fair and just wanted to give my resume to NASA just to say NASA has my resume. And they they liked me and they got me here at NASA.
All right.
It just was a strange story.
You've breached the subject. We now need to know an engineer from NASA, Star Wars or Star Trek.
Star Wars.
You're
I'm
too
sorry.
You're physically too close to Disney. That's what it is.
No. I'm sorry. It's always Star Wars. It has been for years. But of course, I am a Trekkie, a secret Trekkie at heart. Star Trek Next Generation, Patrick Stewart. He's my man.
I'm right there with you.
I'm just kind of a little bit taken aback here because we have a rocket scientist on our show. I mean, and the reality of it is I think we've hit the pinnacle of our career. I really think that's what it comes down to now.
I mean,
Oh my gosh, you're making me blush.
I can certainly tell you when we started doing this from the living room of my one-bedroom apartment, 6 years ago, I never suspected that one day we'd have an engineer from NASA on the show. I can assure you.
That can bust a move.
Oh, is that because the arts? Right, of course.
Dancer. I minored in dance in college too because I didn't give it up. I still dance. I still do it on the side. So you can have it all.
Indeed, apparently you can.
You can have it all.
So here's the really important question. Obviously, you've been here watching the competition. What's the craziest thing you've seen a robot do today?
Smash's robot. How it climbed up the railing blew my mind.
Isn't that ridiculous?
I was like wait, what is it doing? What is it doing? And then just...
that's the one that rolls?
Yeah, that does the somersault up
It's insane. I love that. Then there's the one, the Ninjineers that comes up the side with the dual thing. It pulls up and then loops over.
That was very impressive too.
Then vomits things up onto the top of the pyramid.
Frisbees come out of nowhere.
And you hear them fire, and they go that far and then just sit.
It's amazing.
I was talking to one of the strategists from the team yesterday, and they said, at the Worlds, an average team will score maybe 60 points, and they're just in climbing, they get 68 for a perfect climb, and they get all of their Frisbees. They get 68 points. So just with a single maneuver, they get above average.
No wonder that's all they were doing.
Right? They said that's all you have to do.
They're like, we're okay.
We got this.
We got this.
They actually said they have 3 drivers, and one is really good at climbing. One, I think, is striving to be really good at climbing. So when the one who's really good at climbing, he'll fire once or twice and then climb. The other one will just climb because he's trying to get good at it.
Like, focus.
And then the third one will do whatever they think will win the round.
It's like, I'll feel this out today.
which is kind of fun, which means that the teams that are competing against them have to be prepared for 3 different strategies, which sucks.
Hey, yeah, that's great strategy. Also, 801 just sucking up the Frisbees on the ground. That's brilliant. They don't even have to go back to get the Frisbees.
Somebody was telling us yesterday that when you're aligned right, if there's one of those, and some of the robots are able to fire mostly accurately from the other side of the arena. So they'll sit there and just feed Frisbees and fire them, and the ones that they miss, the cleanup robots will come and pick them up and then fire them.
That is great strategy.
So he never moves out of his spot.
How
He's
ridiculously
just always there.
clever is that? But of course it means that your alliance has to be right. You don't really have as much control over that. But still, that's really clever.
Yeah.
These kids are so smart.
Yes, I was going to say, these kids are really smart. Looking at today, I discovered yesterday, my first time learning about FIRST was yesterday, and being here at least. And there's 15 seconds of autonomous mode in which nobody's touching this robot and they're finding their target and shooting. Did that blow your mind as much as it did mine?
Yes.
Okay.
My mind was blown. I was like, I just saw them. They're just standing there, but the robots are moving and shooting
doing stuff.
and what?
That's not something I even fathomed of doing when I was a kid. I'm like, I'm not going to build a robot that's going to find a Frisbee and just throw it automatically into a hole. Like, and that's something these kids are like, yeah, that's what we do. I mean, that's just part of it. That's
like,
only the little part of it.
Right.
Oh, okay, that's just...
no big deal. Just brush it off. Just like brush it off.
That's insanity.
I know. I keep saying, I'm like, where was this when I was in high school?
I was fortunate enough to have been on a FIRST team during high school. My last time on a field before yesterday was 1997, and I mean, autonomous. In 1997, it would have been a stretch for you guys to have an autonomous mode on a robot. So certainly high school students weren't doing it. Neither was MIT, who was kind of in charge of the organization. They wouldn't have even thought about an autonomous mode in 1997. And here, these high schoolers, some of the middle schoolers from the FTC yesterday are like, oh yeah, there's a 30-second autonomous mode. No big deal. It's just part of the thing.
No, it's not just part of the thing.
What?
That's the coolest thing.
That's not a thing.
You know you're in 8th grade, right?
You know you're like 12.
This is unbelievable.
This is the
absolutely
future,
love it.
right? This is the future.
It is the future, and it's crazy, just technology, because even, I mean, NASA, we're still working with stuff because it's just robust. We're working with what worked years ago,
right.
But there is some people working on new technology about potentially sending robots to other planetary objects before us and building basically a base before we even get there. That's where it's going, and it's amazing.
With Frisbees.
Similar to the secret moon base, right?
Oh, yeah. Whoa.
She's got the government mumbled down.
She's got it.
No comment.
You said the secret word, which cued that response. It's the nanobots, I think, right?
It's the word secret. Just government people go, oh.
That's classified. It's classified information.
We wouldn't be good reporters and journalists if we didn't do our homework.
Uh-oh.
Says the guy reading a piece of paper in front of him. It says here, you do your dancing, which we've seen, or not seen, but heard you say. You also play the sport of rugby.
That I do.
Because you don't have enough other things to do in the course of a day.
My life wasn't busy enough. It wasn't interesting enough. I needed another challenge.
Explain the beginnings of you being interested in rugby and how that escalated. I'm dying to know.
One of my dearest friends who I met at NASA, we co-op together, she's played all through college, and she's plays on a women's team in Hartford, Connecticut. I've been so busy with dance, she's like, you gotta try it, you'll love this sport. Now that I have a full-time job, I actually had a little bit of time. She's like, Kelley, Orlando as a team, try it, go. I was like, I'll give it a shot. I went, and it is the most amazing sport I have ever played. It is just a rush. It's so much fun. I love it. We're getting the women's team back together. Orlando used to be national champions, and then they kind of fell off, and now we're starting anew. We have old girls coming back, so I'm really excited, and it's a fun sport. It's rough, but
well, that's fantastic.
It's a great workout.
Now I have to know, what is the ratio between the number of rockets you successfully launched into space versus the number of noses you've broken?
Oh, I haven't been playing that long yet. Also, I don't know how many noses I've broken. They don't tell me.
It's all based on guess from how they look on the field.
Right.
It's like, that looks a little...
Oh my goodness. That's awesome. Well, Kelley Jones, thank you so much for coming on the show.
We really do
appreciate it. We really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
This is my first radio show, so this is fun for me.
Well, fantastic.
You will probably get an email from NASA PR after this.
I know. That mumble. I'm going to be fired. Thanks, guys. Permanent furlough.
You accurately mumbled. You did what you were supposed to. You're fine.
I said no.
Well, we really appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Kelley Jones. That is just awesome.
So, dancing, rugby, and rockets.
Rockets. I mean,
that's fantastic.
Do you need anything else in life?
No,
I don't think so. I think that's everything you need to do.
Indeed, I think you are correct.
And when you have a name this is the official position for her. I just want to.
What's her official position?
And you'll have to put this in the lower third. Kelley is assigned to the Engineering Directorate's Fluid Systems Design Group, working on Integrated Ground Operations Demonstration Units and Launch Services Program Propulsion Group.
That's way too many words for a title.
It's a